There's something nobody tells you about watching a cultural moment happen in real time. You don't actually realize it's a cultural moment until it's already over. You're just sitting there, watching the charts refresh, and suddenly the numbers are doing something they've never done before. Then you look up, and the whole room has shifted. That's what happened with Bad Bunny and the UK. And if you weren't paying attention, you missed the most quietly seismic moment in music this year. By the way, welcome to Celebrity Hip Hop Showroom, where hip hop and celebrity drama never sleep, so hit that subscribe button so you never miss the mess. Let's get into it. Let's set the scene properly, because this story, it doesn't start at the Super Bowl. It started way before that. It started with a bet most people didn't know was being placed. In late 2024, Bad Bunny dropped Debí tirar más fotos, which translates to I should have taken more photos, an album so deeply rooted in Puerto Rican culture, identity, and nostalgia that music critics weren't even sure how to categorize it. It wasn't trying to be global. It wasn't chasing the pop crossover formula. It was specific, intentional, and in Spanish, all of it. The UK? The UK filed it under Nice, but not for us. The album debuted and settled at number 13 in the UK albums chart. Decent, respectable. The kind of chart position that says, we see you, but we're not ready to commit. A polite nod across the room. Nothing more. And for a while, that was the story. Bad Bunny was massive everywhere, but in the UK, he was background music at best, a name people recognized, an artist people respected from a distance, the way you respect someone else's culture without fully stepping into it. Nobody was panicking. Nobody was watching the charts nervously. Nobody suspected a thing. February 8th, 2026, Super Bowl Sunday. The most watched television event in the United States, the kind of show that gets an audience of over 100 million people, the kind of stage that has historically been reserved for artists who sing in English, perform in English, and speak to a mainstream American audience in, you guessed it, English. And then Bad Bunny walked out and performed entirely in Spanish. Not one English word, not a chorus, not a bridge, not even a polite bilingual compromise, just Spanish. Clean, unapologetic, culturally specific Spanish, broadcast to over 100 million people worldwide. He became the first musician in Super Bowl history to do that. Let that sit for a second. In a show that has hosted Beyoncé, Prince, Michael Jackson, Bruno Mars, Bad Bunny did something none of them did. He refused to translate himself for the audience. He made the audience come to him. The internet, predictably, lost its mind. Streams exploded overnight. Spotify started crying happy tears. And somewhere in the United Kingdom, something very interesting began to happen in the charts. Something that, honestly, nobody was fully prepared for. Here's where it gets suspicious, like actually suspicious, because chart movements don't usually work like this. Albums don't typically jump 2 places in a single week. That's not normal chart behavior. That's not gradual organic growth. That's not a slow burn. That's an avalanche. That's the kind of movement that makes chart analysts look at their screens and go, wait, is this real? It's the kind of number that suggests something happened, something external, something that broke through a wall that had been quietly standing for years. Debí tirar más fotos went from number 13 to number 2 in the UK albums chart in 1 week. 1 week. It was stopped from the top spot only by Olivia Dean's The Art of Loving, and even that felt like a photo finish, a near miss, the kind of thing that makes you wonder what would have happened if the Super Bowl had aired on a different day, if the algorithm had tilted slightly differently, if one more person had pressed play. And then there was the singles chart. His track DTMF jumped 39 places to land at number 4, his highest UK singles chart position ever. Nueva York hit 15. Baile Inolvidable reached 20. This wasn't one song catching a wave. This was an entire album having a moment simultaneously. This was coordinated. This was real. This right here, this is the moment you need to stop scrolling and actually pay attention, because what just happened in those charts is not just a music story, it's a statement. And if you want to see us break down more moments like this one, go subscribe to the YouTube channel right now. We cover the stuff the industry doesn't want to explain out loud. The link is right there. Don't miss it. Here's the part people are glossing over in their excitement. Here's the thing buried underneath all the celebration and the streaming numbers and the chart screenshots. Bad Bunny was already the world's most streamed artist in 2025. The whole world. Not Latin America, not the Spanish-speaking world. The whole world. He had already crossed every invisible line, every algorithmic barrier, every industry expectation. He had already done what most people said couldn't be done, built a global audience without abandoning his language, his culture, and his identity. And the UK, sophisticated, musically rich, historically gatekeeping the UK, had given him a 13, a polite 13. We see you, but we're not ready to commit 13. A polite nod across the room, nothing more. And for a while, that was the story. Bad Bunny was massive everywhere, but in the UK, he was background music at best, a name people recognized, an artist people respected from a distance, the way you respect someone else's culture without fully stepping into it. Nobody was panicking, nobody was watching the charts nervously, nobody suspected a thing. That was the first mistake. It tells you quite a lot, actually. Bad Bunny didn't perform in Spanish at the Super Bowl because he forgot English exists. He performed in Spanish because he made a deliberate, conscious, historical choice to stand on the biggest stage in American television and say, "This language belongs here too." He didn't ask permission. He didn't hedge. He didn't offer a translation. And the charts responded. Not immediately, because nothing that meaningful is ever immediate, but eventually, with the kind of force that 42-place jumps represent. This is what authentic cultural confidence looks like in practice. This is what happens when an artist refuses to shrink. The UK chart didn't hand Bad Bunny anything. He earned his way to number 2 through years of consistency, a body of work that is genuinely extraordinary, and one night in February where he reminded an entire planet why language is never actually a barrier when the music is undeniable. The 31-year-old from Puerto Rico just rewrote the rulebook on what a Super Bowl performance can look like, what a chart-topping album sounds like, and who gets to be considered a global superstar. The answer, for anyone still asking, everyone, but especially the ones who refuse to apologize for where they come from. The music industry has a long history of deciding who matters and when. The charts are not neutral. They reflect who gets airplay, who gets promotion, who gets the benefit of the doubt. Bad Bunny's 42-place jump is a beautiful number, but it's also a question, a challenge, a quiet reminder that the walls were there, that people noticed them, and that it took a Grammy win and the most-watched show on American television to move the needle. Watch the artists who are doing the work right now. Watch the ones performing in their own languages, on their own terms, refusing to water themselves down for approval. Watch what happens to the charts when the world finally catches up to what they've been building. And while you're watching, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are going to keep talking about the stories behind the stories, the numbers behind the numbers, and the moments the mainstream is only just beginning to catch up to. Subscribe, hit the bell, and don't let the algorithm decide what you see next. You decide. Bad Bunny didn't wait for permission. Neither should you.